One day you wake up and you don't even recognize your own life. Not because of some big catastrophe, not because everything fell apart overnight, but because somewhere along the way you stopped choosing. This isn't to say you don't enjoy parts of your life, no, just the direction. Maybe your career choices or the place you live, maybe even down to the coffee you drink. It doesn't even feel like you've made the choice anymore. It feels like someone is writing the script for your life, controlling you like a puppet, and you don't know how to break free. And you know, this didn't happen all at once. There was no single moment, no sharp left turn, no sudden choice to stop living fully. Just a slow, quiet drift, like a raft gently floating out to sea. At first, the water is calm, the horizon's still within reach, but before you realise it, the current pulls you further. The shores grow distant. The waves rise, and suddenly you're no longer drifting, you're lost. And the worst part, you can't even remember how you got here. Have you ever felt yourself saying yes when you meant no? Taking that safe job because it made sense? Staying in a relationship that was fine because fine was easier than the unknown, easier than being single, easier than not knowing if you'll ever find love again, and now you've convinced yourself that this is what you've always wanted, but deep down, you know better. What if I told you the life that you're living isn't really yours, that you were never actually stuck, just following a script that you didn't write? And what if I told you you've been holding on to a version of life that was never truly meant for you? And what if I told you that the only reason you feel lost is because you stopped steering? No dramatic turning point, no sudden collapse, just a slow, quiet fade. Until one day, you wake up and realise you don't even recognise your own life. This morning, you get out of bed, you check your phone, you run through the countless amount of emails about something you have no care for, and you go through the motions. And then 1 second, just that one fleeting second, you stop to think and realise you feel like a stranger in your own routine. But you shake it off and tell yourself it's just a phase, I'm just tired, and this is normal. Work's been hard and the grind doesn't ever stop. Except, it's not just today, is it? It's been like this for a while. And somehow, here you are, and you've convinced yourself that this is what you've always wanted. But somewhere, beneath the routines and the rationalizations, there's that whisper. Is this it? And you don't want to hear it, because if you do, everything might have to change. But what if that voice isn't there to haunt you? What if it's there to wake you up? What if this isn't the end, but the beginning of something better? What if this is your chance to choose again? You see, no one wakes up and decides, I want to live a life that feels empty. It doesn't happen all at once, it happens slowly. You tell yourself, this is just for now, I'll figure things out later. One day I'll make that change. But later never comes. One day turns into 1 year, and 1 year turns into 5. And then without realising it, for now has turned into forever. And the dangerous part, at some point, you stop questioning it. This routine, this life, it doesn't feel like yours anymore. You spent so much time playing the role of yourself, not being able to spend the money that you slave away for endlessly under someone else's guidance, as you have to pay for bills, mortgages, and all the other expenses put on us today, that you forget what it feels like to be yourself. But what if you don't have to stay here? What if the moment you start questioning your life is the moment you start getting it back? What if this isn't where your story ends, but where it begins? Maybe you think the answer is a massive life change. You think if you just move somewhere new, quit your job, end that relationship, burned it all down and started over, that everything would be different. But here's the truth. You don't escape yourself. You carry yourself. No fresh start fixes what you're avoiding inside. And if you don't face the real issue, if you don't confront the reason that you feel stuck in the first place, you'll just rebuild the same life somewhere else. Because no matter where you go, there you are. The job might change, the people might change, but the patterns, they stay. Because the problem was never the place. It was never the job, never the people. It was never Karen who sits next to you and takes far too many toilet breaks and never gets any work done. It was the rules that you've been following, the ones that you don't even question. So before you pack your bags, before you burn it all down just to build the same walls again, ask yourself, what if you don't need a new life? What if you just need to stop living by the old rules? Have you ever wondered why, despite your best intentions, you find yourself repeating the same behaviours? The unconscious drive to relive past experiences, often in an attempt to resolve unresolved conflicts. There's a reason you keep ending up here. The same patterns, the same choices, the same life, just in different disguises. And it's not bad luck, it's not fate, it's something far deeper, something hidden inside you. Your brain is basically running a program. A script written long before you even realise it existed. Psychologists call it repetition compulsion, the tendency to relive the same experiences over and over. So you're not choosing this consciously, your brain is compelling you to repeat the familiar. And why? Because even if it's painful, even if it's unfulfilling, it feels safe. I know this because I do it too. Sigmund Freud was one of the first to discover this. He noticed that people again and again would recreate the same relationships, the same conflicts, the same frustrations, as if they were trapped inside a loop that they couldn't see. And it's not just trauma, 43% of your daily actions aren't even decisions, they're habits. Automatic, unconscious, you don't think, you just do. And then your brain rewards you for repeating patterns, even when those patterns keep you stuck. And if you don't see it, if you don't learn to break it, you will keep rebuilding the same life in different places with different people, but with the exact same outcome. So the question is this your choice, or is it just your conditioning? Because if it's conditioning, then it means one thing, it's not you. And if it's not you, then you can change it. You see, the moment that you see the pattern, you can break it. Your brain is wired to repeat what it knows. It wants to keep you in familiar patterns because familiar feels safe. Even if it's making you miserable, your brain is wired to repeat what it knows. There's a story called the monkey paradox where scientists once placed 5 monkeys in a cage. In the center, a ladder leading up to a bunch of bananas. But the moment a monkey climbed the ladder, they were all sprayed with ice cold water. Again and again they tried, and again they were punished, until one day they stopped. They had learned, trying leads to pain. But then something strange happened. One by one, the scientists replaced the monkeys. A new monkey entered unaware of the punishment. It saw the bananas, started to climb, and the others pulled it down. Not because they were sprayed, not because there was any danger, but because they had been conditioned to believe there was. Eventually, the cage was full of monkeys who had never been sprayed with water, and yet not a single one would climb the ladder. They stopped trying, stopped questioning, stopped thinking for themselves, because at some point, someone told them not to. And this is kind of how your brain works. It doesn't care if the rules you follow make sense. It doesn't care if they're outdated, irrational, or even harmful. It cares about one thing: repetition. If a pattern has kept you safe before, even if it's keeping you stuck, your brain will fight to repeat it. So the question is, are you climbing the ladder, or are you just following the cage rules without ever asking why? Because the only thing stopping you is what you've been taught to believe. That's why you end up here, not by choice, but by conditioning. Repetition compulsion isn't just about reliving the past, it's about the brain's need to conserve energy. And your habits, they run on autopilot. Your responses, pre-programmed. Your entire life, a loop. Now, you chose to watch this video, and I believe this is where change begins, especially if you've got this far. Not in a massive life-altering moment, not in burning it all down and starting over, but in those little rebellions against your own patterns. The first time you don't force a laugh to a colleague that you've never liked. The first time you don't fill the silence with an apology. And the first time you let yourself want something different. There's that crack, the crack in the loop. Repetition compulsion thrives on mindlessness. It keeps you stuck by making you believe that this is just the way things are. But the second that you disrupt that pattern, even once, your brain notices. And once it sees another way, it can't unsee it. Change isn't about flipping your life upside down overnight, it's about teaching your brain that a different path exists. And that starts with one moment of awareness. One decision today, one moment of truth, one time where you don't follow the script, and suddenly it's not just one moment, it's a shift, a pattern breaking, and a new way of being. Because the thing about change, it never feels big at first, it feels like a whisper. Is this it? Now, if you've reached this far, I want to change your thought process going forward with what changed mine. And that was these 3 lies that were holding me back. And the worst part, I believed them for so long. I need permission. I'm behind. And success is a final destination. The first lie number 1, is I need permission. You've been conditioned to wait for approval, wait for the right timing, wait until you feel ready. But no one is coming to hand you a permission slip. There's no official stamp that says, you're allowed to do this now. Every life-changing decision ever made, it wasn't because someone allowed them. It was because they decided, and you can decide too. Lie 2 is the fact that you feel behind. Your brain has been tricked into believing that life is a race, that by this age you should have this figured out, that if you're not where they are, you'll lose it. But life isn't linear. Some of the most successful people you admire, they didn't make it in their 20s. They were still figuring it out in their 30s. Some didn't start at all until their 40s, 50s, or even later. And the last lie number 3, is that success is a final destination. You think once you hit a certain goal, you'll finally feel done. You'll finally feel complete. But success isn't a place. It's not a single moment. It's a moving target. One day, success looks like building an empire. The next, it's just getting through Monday without falling apart. And both of these are valid. The truth is, there's no rules. There's no fixed path. There's no single moment that makes or breaks you. There is only right now and what you choose to do with it. So, what happened if you stopped believing these lies? What if instead of waiting, comparing, or chasing something that doesn't exist, you just started, you just finish? So where do we go from here? Now that you see the lies, now that you understand the patterns, what's the first step? The answer for me isn't in grand gestures, it's in uprooting everything overnight. It's those tiny little rebellions, the small, deliberate choices that you make every single day. You don't need to burn your life down, you don't need to have it all figured out, you just need to choose a little different, right now. What if today you said no when you meant no? What if today you let yourself dream beyond the checklist? And what if today you stopped waiting for permission and just started? Because life isn't about waiting for the perfect moment, it's about making the moment perfectly yours. No permission, no roadmap, nothing other than what you are right now. And the goal isn't perfection. The goal is to live a life that actually feels yours.